Hello, alchemists! It's me, Lonehawk, back with a couple more cards for the new upcoming The Lost Caverns of Ixalan Alchemy set, releasing December 5th. Apologies to those who are coming from the short. I'm just going to go through the two cards real quick. The first one is Pirate's Landing. It's a 1 red cost sorcery that allows you to draw a card, but if you spend mana from a treasure to cast the spell, you get to seek a pirate card instead. So this presents some opportunities, especially if you only have one pirate. We'll get into that in just a second. And then the second card is Valiant Batrider. It's a 3/3 human knight for 2 and a white, so already it is great value, but it also has the triggered ability that when it deals combat damage to a player, that player gets a one-time boon. When you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you don't, each opponent draws a card. So it taxes your opponent's next non-creature spell, or you get to draw a card when they cast that spell. Seems like a pretty good value, and it is both human and a knight, so it is going to go into a lot of decks. I'm going to be putting together a knight deck for Alchemy for this, and that will be the second one we see. Now, on to the Pirate's Landing deck. And the deck I've built for Pirate's Landing is Seek Me a Pirate. It's a deck that is trying to get the Grim Captain, a crazy card that is a 7/7 Menace, Trample, Lifelink, Hexproof, and it has the wild ability that when it attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent, and then you can put an exiled creature used to craft the Grim Captain onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. And the creatures we've selected for this are Crucius, a pirate, who we can seek with the new Pirate's Landing card, Sentinel of the Nameless City, Merfolk Warrior Scout, that's a 3/4 for 3, and it's got vigilance, and it creates map tokens when it enters the battlefield and when it attacks. So really good card. And then for the vampire and the dinosaur, we've got a single card. It's Galta and Mavrin. It is a 12/12 for 7 mana. You may notice that white is in the cost, but we don't have any white producing lands. That's because we are never going to hardcast this. The idea is just to either draw it or seek it and then discard it. And the way we do that is with Crucius. Crucius allows us to discard a card at the beginning of our end step, and if you do, create a treasure token, and you choose either greater mana value or lesser mana value than the card you discarded. Now, you'll notice from our curve that we've got a lot at 3, and then nothing until Galta and Mavrin. If you discard a 3-cost card, Sentinel of the Nameless City, which we want to get into the graveyard anyway, and seek a greater mana value, you will get Galta. And then we've got multiple ways to discard a card. If Crucius stays around, you can just do that on the next turn. You can also use Charming Scoundrel to discard a card. You can use Bitter Triumph to discard a card. So it should be fairly easy to get it into the graveyard. And the craft cost on the throne is not terrible. So hopefully we will be able to do this turn 5-ish. Now to power our Pirate's Landing, we need treasures. And Charming Scoundrel does double duty there. It can create a treasure token when it enters the battlefield. We can also use Spiteful Banditry. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, we get a treasure token. We've also got Diamond Pickaxe. That creates a treasure token whenever the creature equipped attacks. And we've got Crucius, who creates one on the end step. And I've also got Glowing Dwarf Emissary, which is a Lord of the Rings card. Almost never gets played. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a treasure token. So we've got a few equipments, and we've got a few legendary creatures. And I've also got Boldarin Thrillseeker, which can fling itself, or if it uses the backup ability on another creature, that creature can fling itself. That's the deck. I'm excited to see whether it works. If you build it and run it, let me know. I probably will not be running this deck for a while because I do not have all the cards I need. I need 4 rares for Galta, I need 2 mythics for Crucius, I need 4 rares for Sentinel, and I think I need a rare or 3 between Glowing Dwarf Emissary and Throne of the Grim Captain. So I would be particularly interested if someone wanted to run this deck. I think the Batrider can work in a lot of decks. It's just a good card. The card that I've selected to be the placeholder for it here is the Argivian Cavalier, and I've put together a knight deck. It has Virtue of Loyalty, which creates knight tokens and pushes up our field. We've got Knight Errant of Eos, which is just a fantastic card that has Convoke and lets us reveal cards from the top of our library and put some of them into our hand as long as they are less in mana value than the number of creatures that convoked the Knight Errant. We've got Benelish Knight Counselor, a great alchemy card that gives you a boon that when you cast your next creature spell, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. We've got Resolute Reinforcements, not a knight, but creates us some tokens for convoking. IR's Oathsworn, a great black knight that has menace and gets +1/+1 counters when it connects with the opponent. We've got Arved, Weatherlight Smuggler, another alchemy knight that perpetually gets +X/+X when X number of creatures are put into the graveyard. Oh, or died this turn. And it also triggers when that card is in the graveyard. And to get Arvid back out of the graveyard, we've got Virtue of Persistence. Gives us some early removal, and then late game starts pulling things out of the graveyard. Which, if it's turn 7 or later, it's probably gotten pretty huge in there. We've got Werefox Bodyguard, a knight that exiles creatures while it's on the battlefield. We've got Porcine Portent, alchemy card, and great removal for creatures and later for artifacts and enchantments that it can summon First Little Pig onto the battlefield. We've got Radictel Zealot, another alchemy card, which whenever one or more knights you control attack, not just Radic, you draft a card from Radictel Zealot's spellbook. And in Radic's spellbook, we'll look at it a little bit here, are just night after night after night after night. You've got 15 different knights to choose from. I haven't looked to see if this can pull knights back from the graveyard. That would be pretty darn cool. Oh, yes, the Cavalier of Night here can return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's another way of getting Arvid, the Weatherlight Smuggler, back. And then I think I talked about the Knight Errant of Eos. In the mana department, we've got Cavern of Souls, which makes all our knights uncounterable and mana fixes for them. We've got Captivating Crossroads, another alchemy card, probably the most craftable alchemy card in my opinion. It's a choose your own color land that most of the time does not enter the battlefield tapped. It's also a deck that I don't know that I'll be running anytime soon, but I know I hate playing against Stratic Talzealot, and the Batrider is just going to make this deck all that more tough to go up against. Thank you for joining me for a little bit of previews. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for more. I'll be doing previews on all the cards that I can. And looking forward to December 5th when they release. If you want to see these decks, I'm putting them up on Moxfield. The link is in the description. And yeah, definitely leave a comment if you end up running one of these. Until next time, may Magic the Gathering Alchemy make your day golden.